Hi, Ali. Welcome to the Foghorn Podcast. Lovely to have you here today. If you would like to introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Ali, and I'm currently a university student, and my major is business management.
Brilliant. So, what would you like to share with us today?
I want to share the importance of maintaining dedication when we are aiming to achieve our goals. I was perceived as a quiet individual and a socially awkward person in high school. Also, I was a struggling student in high school, and I achieved low grades in my GCSEs, which were between C's and D's. However, this did not stop me from working hard and improving because I understand there's always time for a turnaround in life.
Wow. And how old were you when you were getting low grades?
It was last year, so it was when I was in school and I was 17 years old at that time.
And was there anything happening in your life at that time to cause the low grades, or was it just simply?
To be honest, I started revising for my grades quite late, which is why the workload was too much to handle, and I was like mentally stressed as well. And that's the worst thing because when you're revising, you want to be relaxed, and when you're stressed, you can't really retain information.
Yeah, that's a very good point to say, actually. When you're stressed, you can't retain information. So what other feelings were you experiencing? So you were stressed.
So like I was quite disappointed because when I found out about my grades, I knew that I could have done better. I was unable to live up to my potential. Also, I was hopeful because at the same time, like I knew that if I worked harder, I could improve. And I did because next year, like when it came to my coursework for BTech, which is 100% coursework, for that, I was the only student to achieve not only a distinction star, but two distinction stars. And
Wow.
anyone who does BTech knows that like it's very hard because you need to achieve all distinctions to get a distinction star by the end. So that was a surprise for like most of my teachers. But I wasn't surprised because I knew that it was my hard work, dedication, and determination that enabled me to get these grades.
Wow. So that's amazing. So what was the difference between when you were getting the low grades, because you said you were stressed then, and then achieving the high grades? Like, what did you do differently?
So basically, when I got the low grades, it was like I did work hard. It wasn't like I was complacent. But then at the same time, I didn't have an effective studying strategy. For example, like now, I revised like it's spaced up. Like at that time, it used to be 4 hours in one go. Now it's like 1 hour and then another time 1 hour. So then, like I have time and then it gives me the opportunity to like retain crucial information. But at that time, it just used to be stressful revising. And by the time I finished, the next day I wake up, it's all out of my head.
Wow. So you said space stop. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, can you explain a bit more about that strategy?
So basically, like for students who go to school, like let's say during their free time, they revise like for 1 hour. And then when they come home, they revise for 1 hour. And then like maybe after dinner, they revise after 1 hour. So then like it's spaced out and it allows them to revise effectively. And it's much better than just like, revising at midnight, 3 hours in one go. Because by the time you wake up the next day, 40% of the important information, you can't remember it.
Wow. And how long do you have a break in between?
That depends like on your routine and everything. But like for me personally, like I have a long break because I have a busy schedule outside my academic life as well. But maybe for some other people, like it can be different. Like they don't need long breaks. Maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour break, 2 hours break. But as long as they're getting the job done, it's perfect.
Wow. So it's crucial to study for short periods of time rather than all in one go in block.
Yeah, all in one go is not effective at all.
And did somebody tell you about this, or how did you know how to where did you get this idea from?
Actually, no one told me about it, but then it was like, this is what I'm trying to say is that failures, when you fail, you're able to learn from your mistakes and come back stronger. So that's what happened with me. Like at that time, I couldn't understand. Like I thought that this was the end of the world. Like obviously when you fail, you feel like this is the end of the world. But if you're long-term oriented, you will find out that you're actually learning from the mistakes you're making. And the next time you face the same challenge, you can succeed.
Wow, that's amazing, because a lot of us are scared of making mistakes and failing. I guess especially maybe when you're studying at university, you just want to get the best grades possible. So what would you say to students who are under that pressure, feeling stressed to get the best grades? What would you say to them to help
To
them?
students, I would say that just enjoy the process. Don't stress out about the result. Just focus on the journey. The destination doesn't matter, because as long as you're focusing on the journey, focusing on yourself. Because, for example, like I've seen many students before the exam, 5 minutes before the exam, they're asking, what's the answer to this? What's the answer to that? But the students who are usually telling them the answers are the ones that do well, because they've revised well, they've revised effectively, they know what to do. So what I'd say is that relax, take your time, and have a balanced lifestyle as well, because it's important to have a balanced lifestyle. I'm not saying that you should just focus on your studying and not anything else.
Right, okay. And it sounds like you're saying as well, not to do things last minute, not to
Yeah,
study
last
last
minute is the
minute.
worst thing.
Yeah. So not, because I guess you can minimize your stress then. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah.
doesn't have to be that stressful. And what was I going to say? So is there anything you think your teachers helped or didn't help, or your parents helped or didn't help or could have helped? Like, tell us about that when you were studying.
To be honest, I feel like my parents, they were quite supportive during this time, because they knew, because they're my parents, they know very well that I can do better, and there's always time for improvement in life. And most of my teachers, they were also quite supportive, but some were like so disappointed. They're like, GCSEs, they're a basic requirement. And according to your standards, you should have cleared that. But then like after a while, when I started to do well, they said, they were basically saying that it would be hard to get into university for you because you didn't do well in GCSEs. But then now, like 1 year has passed, and I can clearly say that they were wrong, because there's always time for improvement. And there's one quote I've heard, that the lower you fall, the higher you'll fly.
Oh, wow. Oh my, I love that quote. The lower you fall, the higher you fly.
Yeah, it's like a
Wow.
slingshot, basically.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And what else do you think you need to be successful in your studies? So,
So I think like you do need to have confidence in your abilities. Like the students who say, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm just so bad. I don't have the natural ability." It's not the ones who have the natural ability does well. It's the one who has self-belief. It's the one who is dedicated towards improvement. So if you're dedicated to, like for example, me as a student, teachers would complain about me all the time that he doesn't participate in class, he doesn't do participate in group projects, he doesn't do well in his exams, he's lacking behind, we are concerned for his future. But then like now I'm in university, and now it's the complete opposite. So what I want to tell to students is that your current situation is definitely not your final destination.
wow, that's great. That's great. And so, and going back again, when you were struggling and you were getting low grades, um, it was because you were feeling stressed. Like,
Yes, that was one of the reason, because and the reason why I was feeling stressed is because I started revising late. So, like when I started revising late, there was so much to cover. And that's why I was stressed. Like, how am I going to cover all of this? But now that I'm doing things since day one, I don't have to worry about that, because by the time it comes to exams or coursework, I'm already I've completed way before the deadline. Or for exams, like I'm ready. I have everything in my notebook. I don't have to like ask anyone that what the question is going to be 5 minutes before the exams, because that's what happens when you have an effective studying strategy.
wow, so you've become very organized and
Very
yeah,
organized,
very
correct?
organized. And did anybody help you become organized, like your friends, or is it just something you learnt by yourself?
To be honest, like I learned it myself, but I can't say that it's all because of me, because so many of my friends, they were motivating that, Ali, just because of one GCSE, one paper, you can't say that this is going to define your future. You can't say that this is who you are. You're not
Wow.
defined by your results, but the way you get back up, the way you work hard towards improvement, that defines who you are.
Wow. So that helped you as well, having
That
support
helped me
from your
as well.
friends.
Moral support is very important.
Wow. Great. Okay. And what else? So what advice? I know you've said the advice, but if there's teens going through the same thing now, they're struggling, apart from having self-belief, self-confidence, what else? Is there anything else you would like to say to those
I would
teens?
like to tell them is to have a positive mindset. Never like think to yourself that something bad is going to happen. You should not manifest anything, because usually when you manifest that, oh, I'm going to do bad, I'm going to fail this, then that's usually what happens, because you're already mentally preventing yourself from succeeding. But if you think to yourself that, no, I have the capability to do it, I can do this, I can work hard, I can improve, then that's when you're going to go ahead.
Well, okay, so positive mindset and choosing the right people to be around. How important is that?
Yes, that's very important.
Yeah, choosing the right people to be around. And anything else you would like to say about that?
Anything else? I think that should basically be good enough for them to excel in life.
Yeah, so not to worry. It's okay to make mistakes. Have a balanced life.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, Ali. And we will see you again soon.
I'll be looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.